So apparently more Christians are being persecuted and martyred in Nigeria. I saw this video pop up on my YouTube feed, and so I want to react to it.
Another 50 Christians have been gruesomely murdered in the ongoing genocide in Nigeria. Frank Uto, a Nigerian lawyer and native of Yelawata, joins us now. Frank, these 50 that have been killed recently, you were talking with me before we got started about the manner in which they were killed. It wasn't, a bomb or something. This was a gruesome event. Can you tell me how these 50 people died?
The way they kill our people is in the most horrific, the most gruesome, the most cruel manner anyone could ever think. It will make even the devil to shiver. Because what they do is that when they come around, you run into your hut, into your house. And then what they do is that they will now, cycle the house with fuel. They will lit fire on the house. And then when you are coming out, they will now hack you down with machete. So they're cutting you as if they are cutting a piece of wood. Not as even they're killing a wild animal. You don't even kill a wild animal that way. So they'll bust your brains with machete and you see spillage of brains. I believe you've seen some of these very horrific pictures. They are so graphic. I have hundreds of them in my phone right now. These are my siblings. These are my cousins. These are people I know so well. I know almost 80% of these people. As a matter of fact, some of them, I spoke to some of them a week before that thing happened. And anytime we speak, we talk with dread. We know that we're living on time bomb. We know that these things will come again. So every time I try to give them an advice, to keep their eyes open. But that was what happened. Look, there are two of my aunties who were pregnant. One was pregnant with a twin, with twins. They split open the stomach, they removed the twins, and then slaughter the
Oh,
twin. So that's what's been happening. And when they are doing this, they begin to recite Allah Akbar, which unfortunately has become an internationally recognized slogan and motto for terrorists. It may have good intention. The words in Arabic says Allah is great or something like that. But unfortunately, it has become the most universally accepted slogan and motto for jihadists. So they'll be slaughtering these people and be chanting Allah Akbar. That's what we've been facing. And unfortunately, the government of our country, the government of our state is doing extremely nothing about this because they will just want to be politically correct.
Yeah, and I'll pause there because the only reason I heard about this event was just because I follow. Well, I'm not even subscribed to CBN, but I see their videos on YouTube. And so that's the only reason why I heard about this. But like mainstream news sources like CNN, Fox News, even I don't even know if Fox talks about this stuff. But bro, yeah, they just want to be politically correct. People talk about the genocide that's happening, in Palestine or whatever, but you don't really hear people talk about this. And I'm not gonna lie, like the way he's describing those attacks is like it's like that's insane, bro. I'm not gonna lie. And I'm Nigerian, guys. I don't know if you guys know, but I'm Nigerian. I was just in Nigeria, like late last year, like December. And so, bro, this is insane. It's demonic. Like I don't even know what else to say. Like that's literally demonic. Like I don't know, bro. I don't even know what to say. Like, yo, Islam is crazy, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Islam is crazy, bro. I don't know how people take it serious as a religion when this is the fruit of it consistently, and people always have to say it's extremist. But that it's just how does that not apply to other religions? Like why do we never see extremist Christians who go to Muslim countries and kill their children, kill everybody? Like that's not really something you see. It's because it's actually written in the Quran, guys. Like it's not a religion of peace. If you're Muslim, because I know some Muslim people watch my videos, they get mad, but I'm trying to like I feel like this happens so often. Like how do you just wave this stuff away? But let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Because the kinsmen of these people are the same people who constitute the top echelon of the Nigerian political structure, business structure, and institutional structure. So you find a lot of our people who are so reluctant to do something about this. because they want to be politically correct. They want to have at every time political political benefits and personal aggrandizement. So that's what we've been facing. So like I said earlier, we lived with this. We've been living with it before now. Do you know that before the incident, I'm sorry, maybe I may be digressing, but before the incident of June 13 and 14, before that massacre, 2 weeks earlier, a retired army officer in my own village of Yerwata, who was my late father's very close friend, was in his compound just going through his phone that night. And because of the beam, the light of the phone, was shining on his face, these jihadis came to his compound, shot him on the leg. So he ran into his room. So, we're very poor people. Our houses are made from mud. We don't have houses made of strong bricks. So even when you kick the wall, it will break. So many of our houses, we don't even have window frames. So like in his own window frame, what was there was just a mosquito net. So when he fell into his room, they now went through the mosquito net, cut the mosquito net, went into the room, butchered him, butchered his son who was sleeping earlier, and butchered his wife. And then they took some stuff from the house. And do you know, the next day in Uday, a neighboring community to us, that's our world headquarters, Uday, which was like 5 kilometers away from Yerwata, a village, a village woman was going to the farm to fetch firewood, and she saw one of these jihadis, the Fulani, with blood stains on his clothes. So she went back and raised alarm to the village youth that she saw this Fulani guy trying to kickstart a motorbike that stopped. So he was trying to kickstart it, and when she walked past, she saw blood stains all over his body and even on the bike. So that is a ground for suspicion, of course. So immediately our youth ran to the place, met this guy, give him some little beatings, and they were able to extract confession from him. He confessed that they carried out an attack in Yerwata, that's my own village, which was like 4 kilometers away from the village he was caught. They carried out an attack on Yerwata the previous night. They killed that retired army officer, and this bike was given to him by one of the military guys in Uday. Yeah, a detachment of military. So one of them is his kinsman, is a fellow Fulani, is a Muslim officer. So the youth took the bike with him and went to where the military guys are stationed and accosted that particular military officer. His name is Suleiman, and said, "Look, this is what you've been accused of." So the Suleiman gave a very preposterous kind of excuse by saying he gave out the bike to this guy yesterday because the guy came here and said one of his brothers was bitten by a snake. And so he gave him the bike to take the brother to the hospital. Now you don't know that guy, but you've released your bike to him. Who is that his brother who was bitten by the snake? No one could see that person. Which hospital did he take him to? None. So we reported this to the military top echelon in my state capital in Mokodi, which was also headed by another Fulani. That's how these guys are strategic. By another Fulani officer. And that was how the story died a natural death. So far, nothing has been done about it. And so far, we've even forgotten about it.
Wow. Well, Frank, unfortunately, we're going to have you back on because these stories just keep happening. I'm getting really frustrated. I can't imagine how your frustration, just that this happens day after day, week after week, month.
Yeah, ultimately, this is like the persecution that's just allowed. You're allowed to persecute Christians for whatever reason, in America, right? In America, thankfully, we don't have it to this level, but clearly in social media, but clearly in the movies, the music, whatever it is, people mock God like Jesus, but in other countries, if you're Christian, you get killed. But yeah, guys, ultimately, being persecuted is just a part of being Christian. It's been laid out in scripture. There are a couple verses I want to read that kind of relate to this. It says right here, "Indeed, all who desire to live a godly life in Christ Jesus will be persecuted, while evil people and impostors will go on from bad to worse, deceiving and being deceived." And that's just one verse. Clearly, Jesus said, if the world hates you, you know that it hated me first. Blessed are those who persecuted. It talks about it so often, that persecution is a part of being a Christian because Jesus was persecuted. And so if we follow in his steps, a servant is no greater than his teacher, his master. And so, but it is what it is, but at the same time, it's just insane. Like, it is insane. But we can rejoice, right? Because we have Romans chapter 8, verse 18, right? So in Romans 8, verse 18, it says, "I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us." So it's like, bro, the stuff that we will experience as Christians on this earth, it could get hard, and it will get hard, but like, bro, it will never match. It'll never even come close to the blessings and the glory, that we're gonna experience eventually. Hold on, there's one more passage I want to read, because this is something that Jesus said that I feel like it kind of relates as well, right? It says, "Most assuredly I say to you that you will weep and lament, but the world will rejoice, and you will be sorrowful, but your sorrow will be turned into joy. A woman, when she is in labor, has sorrow because her hour has come. But as soon as she has given birth to the child, she no longer remembers the anguish for joy that a human has been born into the world. Therefore you now have sorrow, but I will see you again, and your heart will rejoice, and your joy no one will take from you." And so Jesus was talking about how he was going to, be crucified and died, but he's going to come back. But I feel like it still relates, because it's like on earth, there's going to be moments where we're sad and suffering and stuff. But like, it's like childbirth. It's like, the pain and everything that you have to go through. But eventually, when you finish the race, and you receive the prize, when you receive the crown, which all those people will receive a crown in heaven for dying through persecution. But when you receive that crown, it's like, bro, nothing else. You don't even remember what happened. You're not going to be thinking about that. Well, they're all in heaven, and they're not even thinking about the bad stuff that happened to them. You know what I'm saying? Nah, this is a crazy story, guys. Hopefully we don't have to keep hearing about this stuff happening in Nigeria, man. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, watch my other videos. Bye.